It really does feel like they're planning on dragging this whole thing with Yoshi out until the very end. It's like, just say clearly what's going on. Why do we have to keep dragging this out further and further? At least Chisato knows that he was involved somehow, and that part has been cleared up, but everything else around it, just this whole idea of, again, me struggling whether Yoshi is actually wanting her to kill or not. It seems like with this episode, unless they're playing with words, they're pretty much saying at this point that, yes, Yoshi does believe that Chisato has the ability to kill, that she has this talent, and that she needs to be used. Like, we need to talk about her future. Mika's saying, no, please let her go. I don't want to do this. Remember my promise, all that kind of stuff. It's just, I think, is it that obvious? Is it going to be that obvious? I don't know. But no, great episode overall. I really do like, especially in this episode, seeing how Kurumi has finally been injected into the group as a part of the chemistry. Again, I mentioned last episode, I was really refreshed by the idea that Kurumi was finally doing stuff. And I think with last episode and this episode, we're really starting to see her chemistry get injected in the group, and it's really great. She's kind of a little trickster that's kind of adding a little bit of comedy in with the show. But a lot of really fantastic comedy in this episode, like the whole opening sequence, having them draw what Majima looks like. And Chisato's, yes, got the green hair, got the jacket going on. I think the only thing that Takana got out of the whole situation was that he had this kind of, I don't know, Hawaiian shirt underneath, because she got that part kind of covered. But yeah, just Chisato's very goofy laugh. I mean, it felt natural because it has that kind of aspect to it. It was really great. But no, for sure, Majima was a crucial part of this episode. Majima seems to be working with the hacker in order to put in some sort of system into the mainframe or something like that. They go to a police station, they shoot up the place, and then they go into this one room where there's a computer, and they inject this USB, which I'm assuming is going to help them tap into the DA. Or at least something involved with the tower. I'm not sure if the tower is involved with the DA, but it seems like there's a lot of emphasis on the tower, but at the same time, they do want to break into the DA. But in these different segments, we're seeing Majima's getting more and more obsessed with Chisato. Like, who is this girl? She's able to dodge my shots. I don't miss my shots. And there's something special about her. And then when the hacker comes back and says, oh yeah, there's supposed to be some sort of rumor that she was involved with that tower incident. You remember that? You know what that tower incident's all about? Yeah, I did that. Oh, okay, there goes back to my theory that I'd already predicted that Majima was going to be connected to that. And sure enough, it looks like all my predictions there went true. Majima was a part of that whole incident. And yes, he was stopped by Chisato. He just didn't recognize her. At the time, Chisato was this little girl. So apparently Chisato's been pretty crazy for a long time. Well, granted, they did mention that was quite a while ago, so it would make sense that she was younger. I mean, technically, there's a couple shots inside of the OP that shows Chisato, Takina, and even Fuki as a younger age. So I'm assuming that at some point we're going to see them younger, and that's probably going to show the backstory of that whole situation. Hopefully next episode, because it does seem like we're already pretty much stating, yes, we need to kind of show what happened then to parallel with what's going to happen now. So it would be best if they showed this whole backstory, what happened to the old tower, and then jump into now Majima's taking down this new tower. But yeah, that really excites Majima, obviously. And yes, technically at the very end of the episode, we do get to find out that he has an Allen Institute pendant. So apparently he has something special about him too. And he's questioning, what is Chisato's whole thing? What is special about Chisato? What is her mission? But yeah, he's set to attack the tower, so we'll see how that turns out next episode. But yeah, mostly the stuff around Chisato and the rest of the team was them trying to figure out what this text is to Maki. They originally think that it's the commander texting and that they have a thing together, and everybody except for Kurumi is like, no, that's not a thing. Chisato thinks that based on the text, it means that they're shutting down the cafe. So she kind of gathers everybody together to go find out what Maki's doing, which is at this bar. They get all dressed up. We get some nice outfits for Takina and especially Chisato. Again, back to that humor aspect of Kurumi, giving them like the most absurd names to give to enter the bar, and it works though. But that's when Chisato, while they're sneaking out, thinking that Mika and Yoshi is a thing. So we get the Yuri fans get their stuff, and yes, the Yaoi fans can get their stuff as well. But yeah, Chisato thinking that Mika and Yoshi have a thing, decided to start sneaking out, and that's when they overhear that yes, Yoshi had in fact saved Chisato's life. And she decides to stand up at that point and confront Yoshi because she's been looking for this guy this entire time. Finally, she knows, and so she confronts him. And of course, Yoshi's like, I can't say anything. I mean, that's the whole rules. The patrons can't really speak to each other. It was interesting because she kind of pushes upon him. I'm happy to finally meet you. I've been giving my entire life to saving other people just like you saved me. But then he stops her and says, but you're Lycoris though. and your talent is to, and they get cut off, unfortunately. It's like, please, just come on, just finish the stupid sentence. We've been waiting this freaking long, finish it off. But he says Alan's children have their own purpose. Speak to Mika about that, and just leaves. And the conversation between Mika and Yoshi in the elevator kind of, again, insinuates this idea that Mika is come from a kind of violent place. He's like, Jin, I let him go. And Yoshi's like, wow, you've become a softie. You're much more softer than you used to be. And while Mika's saying, give Chisato all the time that she needs, he's like, that's a talent that only gods should possess. We made a promise 10 years ago, a promise to deliver that talent to kill to the world. So like I said before, it kind of is laying out a bunch of stuff that's pushing me back against Yoshi. Like I've been kind of in a state of denial for quite a while now with this whole brief shots that we're seeing of this guy on the back of his head and thinking, oh, maybe it's just a guy that looks like Yoshi. Why wouldn't they show his face? But no, it's at this point pretty much laid it out that Yoshi's going to be involved in something pushing Chisato to be a killer. I didn't want it to be that simple. It seemed too obvious from the very beginning, and now it seems like it's just so obvious that it would be dumb if it's not the case. Him saying Mika has become a softie because he let Jin go. Him telling Chisato that of everybody, for a fact that Chisato doesn't belong there. But at the same time, I have high hopes for you, which brings its own fears. Just Mika himself wanting Yoshi to leave her, to let her go, let her be free. I don't know why Mika would say that unless he knows that Yoshi's plan is to force her to do something violent. Now, I still believe that Yoshi does care for Chisato. I just think that him being tied up with the Allen Institute knows that eventually he's going to have to execute on forcing Chisato to do something. What is that going to be? That's the big question mark. Obviously, it seems like it's trying to build up everything to this idea that Chisato's going to be forced to her hand. I mean, I know a lot of people that's the thing everybody's waiting for, that moment that Chisato's going to be forced to have to kill. But I'd be more wanting it to subvert my expectations. Like this idea that you think that she's going to have to, like it's forced her card, but then she does something really incredible and creative to get past it. But the big thing in this episode that makes me fear the most is that comment that Yoshi made at the very end. Yoshimatsu tells Takina, again, of all of the people here, you would probably know best that she doesn't belong here. But additionally, I have high hopes for you, which that's the big red flag right there. That's a big red flag right there. That's basically him saying, I like that you've gotten really friendly with Chisato. Can't wait to put your life in danger in order to force her hand. It's really what it's saying. It's really what it's saying right there. Again, pushing away all these beliefs that I was hoping that it wouldn't be Yoshimatsu that's seen in all these scenes working with the hacker. He's the one that's trying to force Chisato to have a difficult situation before her. Jin, and now Majima. He's putting things very violent before Chisato in order to force her hand to be violent. And again, I wish it was something a little more complicated than that, and it wasn't as obvious as that, but again, with everything else being just fine, it's not ruining the show for me. I am kind of annoyed that they kind of interrupted with Yoshimatsu talking about how she's a Lycoris and her talent is to kill, which I'm assuming that's what he's going to say, because that's kind of what he told Mika in the last visit at the bar. Because I think Chisato right there, her good response would be, no, I have been saving lives. I haven't been killing people. I don't care if my talent is to kill. I've been saving lives. Which also brings up the question is, what is Majima's talent? Why does he have a thing? Is it just as simple as chaos? He's talented at chaos? I wonder if it's going to be that he is talented at surviving. He's talented in the idea that he is very durable. Because again, what do we have the whole last episode? He literally was standing right next to a car that got this huge explosion and he was chucked 100 feet away. That would kill people, like instant death. That's a lot of pressure to push somebody. I mean, the pressure alone, let's put aside the explosion and everything else, the pressure alone to project him that far would probably have killed him. So I'm wondering if his talent is going to be that he's just really durable. Like he's, I don't know, again, we're kind of trying to keep it into the realm of reality here, but there's some pushes of the limit with things like Chisato and stuff. But anyways, we'll see. That's my thoughts on episode 7 of Lycoris Recoil. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Do you think that it's as simple as Yoshi being the guy trying to push Chisato to kill? Or do you think he's trying to prepare her for something? I still want to believe that there's something in Yoshi that's a good guy. And yes, I still kind of believe that he's going to be her father. But yes, if you've not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I'd greatly appreciate everybody that does. And you'll take care.